So, how do you get marketing to work? Well, in this episode of Finding Freedom, we're going to talk about just that. So, let's get into it, shall we? So, the first thing you want to do is you want to find what people like. There's no easier way to find what people like than to try stuff organically. See, when you try stuff organically, not only is it free, but the algorithm will put your content in front of people that either follow you, interact with your stuff, people that you interact with, and it'll shotgun everything out there. And then you could get a good understanding of what got a lot of reach, i.e., the views or whatever impressions, compared to things that did not. Now, once you understand what works, right, what people are attracted to, what gets a lot of attention, then what you want to do is get in front of as many people as possible. The reason why I say get in front of as many people as possible is because, well, if you're in business or you're solving a problem or you have a service for somebody or a product, right? You want to show that thing to as many people as possible with content that is not only going to be relevant, but that they're going to actually pay attention to. The fault that most people spend, a lot of money in is, well, excuse me, is trying to see what works, and they spend so much money trying to figure out what works instead of doing things organically and then repurposing that for later, that they just waste not only a lot of money but a lot of time and a lot of energy, and they get frustrated and they say that marketing doesn't work or it costs too much money. So this is one of the things that, I would strongly suggest. How would you get in front of as many people as possible while still trying to get them to convert? Well, you can do a meta campaign, for instance. Set up a conversion campaign and put your most popular reels, because that seems to be the content that everybody is driven to thanks to TikTok, shorts, and reels, so on and so forth. Most people focus on video now. And then put the objective within the ad set as video views or engagement or somewhere along those lines. And now will you not only have a lower CPM, but you will have a lower CPC or CPV, cost per view, cost per click, for people that are going to convert. See, what happens in Meta, and if you find this information valuable, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to follow me. But what happens in a lot of these platforms is they break things up into three types of categories: top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So within your brand awareness, traffic, and conversion campaigns, or your brand awareness, consideration, and conversion campaigns, you want to have the algorithm put your advertisements in front of people that are going to convert, obviously. So we're going to pick a conversion objective in the beginning. Now, for the objective within the ad set, you want to either have clicks, views, or engagement when starting out, getting in front of as many people as possible at the lowest possible cost. This will not only be beneficial for you, but it'll be beneficial for when you're developing your warm audience, otherwise known as a lookalike audience. Now that you have lower cost, then you could switch the objective, let's say 14 days or 30 days into the campaign, after you gathered all this data of who's going to pay attention. It trains your pixel and your data and the information of who they're going to show your advertisements to so that they can convert. Because remember, the platform will always get paid, but it gets paid more when people convert because you spend more money on the platform when you get more business. So then after 14 to 30 days, you can switch the objective within the ad set to conversions or to clicks, so on and so forth. Not only maintaining minimal cost as possible because you already trained the pixel on whom you want the pixel to show your advertisements to, or the algorithm to show your advertisements to, but who's going to pay attention to it and who's going to click through based upon, well, free will or interest, right? Now, when you're developing your content and stuff like that organically, you're going to want to do a couple things. The first thing you want to do is you want to decide whether you're going to educate, entertain, inspire, motivate, one of those things, right? Or you can do a combination. You can do education with entertainment. You can do motivation with inspiration, right? Motivation will start the engine. Inspiration causes people to take action. And then at least once or twice a week, you want to have a call to action within there, telling people to either take an action of following you, subscribing, or clicking through to get more information or to sign up for your services, whatever the case. Now, how does this all happen? Well, after you give out information, so on and so forth, right? Let's say you're an attorney and you're giving out the 5 basic things you should look out for or red flags, etc. A call to action would be, if you're planning on hiring an attorney, click the link below and you could download my free PDF or ebook on things to have ready when going into a court case or when preparing for a case. If you're in a different industry, let's say real estate, you can give a whole thing on the area and you could download my PDF on the 10 best places to visit or to hang out or recreational parks in the area that you could get into for free on my website. You want to create this value exchange simply for the fact that, one, most people when they get into marketing, they think of it like sales. So they think people are not only already interested, but they're ready to buy. They never establish an actual relationship. Whereas marketing is, well, the wooing in the relationship, right? So you want the value exchange. You want to give out the ebook, the free video, or the free PDF download in exchange for a name and email address. Now, the purpose of the name and the email address is twofold. One, they come in as a lead, whether that is a marketing qualified lead or not. Two, you're able to take that email list once it gets to a certain volume and keep growing it, right? And create what's known as lookalike audiences within the Meta platform. You could do similar audiences in Facebook, in Google. You could do act-alike audiences and Pinterest. They're essentially all the same. They just use different titles. It's the same thing. But you can create a lookalike audience based upon the emails. And if those emails happen to be Google emails, well, they also have access to their data, their information, and they can find you more people like them at a cheaper cost, increasing the profitability of your advertisements. So remember that you want to educate, inspire, motivate, or entertain, or mix that up or combine some of those in order to create content that not only sticks, but when you add the call to action once or twice a week to see what works and see if anybody took any action, and then put dollars behind that, right? Using the statement that I had made earlier. Then, of course, the value exchange, which would be on your landing page, which is a brief landing page giving people the information that they're looking for with maybe some bullet points or outlines on your business, what it is that you do, and then the option to take a look at your website after they submit their information. The way you could do this is, you can click here to learn more. They go to the landing page, they submit everything, they get the exchange in return, and then you, within the email or the next follow-up page, you can bring them to your website. From there, you want to have a follow-up system. When people come into your CRM, your database, so on and so forth, how do you follow up with these people, right? Because yeah, they may have downloaded the PDF, they may have, looked at the free videos or the content, etc. They may have engaged with you. But are you actively reaching back out to them in order to see if they want to do business with you? When I studied Grant Cardone's sales method, when I went to 10X GrowthCon, I bought his program. And in there it says that one of the biggest things that companies fail at is the follow-up process. See, the follow-up process is something that most people don't want to do, simply for the fact that, well, it takes time and energy. But with AI now, you can have AI follow up with emails, etc., utilizing tools like Zapier to set up the integration to go off every 3 to 7 days after an exchange has been done, to follow up with individuals, having at least 2 touch points versus with email or with a phone call. And then from there, you'll be able to, well, hopefully land some more clients more effectively. Last but not least, you want to study what worked and use AI. Hold on one second. So you want to study what works and use AI. So after all this, after let's say the first 90 days, the first quarter of campaigns go out, so on and so forth with content and everything else, I want you to evaluate everything that you just put out there, both paid and organic, see what worked, and then utilize AI to not only help you do your market research, but to come up with other ideas similar to that creative, having some unique twists to it, however, still changing the dynamic of the content because you don't want to be repetitive with the same thing over and over again. You want to add different red flags. How about some green flags? What are some things you should do when you go to court? What are some things, what happens when you come across law enforcement? What happens when you come across a property that has an easement on the property, so on and so forth, etc. What kind of clients do you normally work with? What are some testimonial stories that you have that can, well, not only enhance someone's experience, but give them a story to feed into so that they want to do business with you? So until next time, my friends, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Finding Freedom.